You ever been around somebody and once you leave them, you're like, child, I feel tired. I feel drained. I feel like something was taken away from me, or your body's having a physiological response. I got a headache. What is going on? You were just around an energy taker and they took a piece of you. Hmm, let's talk about it. I'm Phoenix Jackson. Welcome to Unfolding Us. If you're new here, please like, share, subscribe, or just go back and listen to some of the older episodes so you can see and understand a little bit of what I'm about, where I come from. Honey, the things I am sharing with you are 20 years of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and a little bit longer than that if we want to talk about those younger years and the fact that I was, raising myself. You know what I mean? Um, but today, I want to talk about something that's briefly discussed in some public spaces, but not really, and that is energy vampirism, honey. Now, we all have seen Sinners. We all, we saw that beautiful movie. We saw the concept of vampires come up in different spaces and places, but the real gag is there is such thing as vampires in a different way, and that's energy vampires. Let's talk about energy. And specifically, the reality is humans are made of nothing but energy, atoms. We are quantum physical beings. We are of this dimension. And with that, with all of us being energy, specifically, what happens when other people feed off of our energy? Some people will see your lights, honey, and want to learn from it. That's beautiful. There are others who don't just admire it, they usurp, they take, they mimic, they drain, they feed off of your ideas, your spirit, your presence, and they leave you empty. And not every person who's drawn to your fire deserve a seat at your flame, honey, because they'll use your flame to keep them warm. And before you look around, your flame has smoldered out because they didn't add anything to the flame. They didn't sprinkle anything on it to help it puff up a little bit more. They didn't add a little gasoline, nothing. They just sat there and kept themselves warm from it. And guess whose fault that is? It's yours. See, energy takers often mirror you, but don't honor you. They show up when you're shining and disappear when you're struggling. They take your words, your style, your work, but don't offer no real reciprocity. They make you second guess your boundaries. You feel it in your body first, right? That little gut twist that says, this doesn't feel safe, this feels off, this situation's not for me, or simply, I don't want to do that. That's my body these days. She'll say real quick, I don't want to do that. It's like an inner child. I don't want to do that, honey. You keeping me too busy. um, and the reality is, I remember the days where people never spoke about energy. People didn't talk about these things. People were just like, dang, I don't like being around that person because I feel some type of way. And I was like, well, you feel some type of way. What, you don't know how to name your feeling? Are you sad? Are you apathetic? Are you feeling stressed? Are you feeling drained? Are you feeling happy, elated, stressful? Like, how do you feel? I just feel some type of way about that person, and I want to have nothing to do with them. Hey, you got to listen to your intuition, right? And some people have made you feel a type of way and you didn't know how to put your finger on it, but you knew that their vibrations and your vibrations didn't vibrate properly. And here's something that we don't say enough: temporary isolation is protection. And sometimes temporary isolation is holy. When you start to sense energy usurpers around you, you don't always need to confront, fight, or prove your case. It's hard to tell somebody that they took something energetically from you. Sometimes the most strategic thing to do is just to take a step back. Retreat. Retreat is a form and a tactic in the art of war, honey. Retreat. Isolation is a container for discernment. Isolating yourself is to protect yourself like that butterfly in a cocoon. It gives you the quietness that you need to hear yourself and to hear your truth, and to also discern who's for you, who's watching you, who's feeding off of you. And sometimes being hidden is how you stay protected. It's not about the loneliness that could come from it, it's about the energetic shielding that comes out of it. All right. And it's going to be uncomfortable, and uncomfortability is okay. Here's what you can do when you sense people pulling from you in an unhealthy way. One, you can trust your gut. If something feels off, it probably is. Now, I met somebody before who was always cutting people off because they feel like everybody was taken from them. Oh, she did, she did. She had a neurotic thing, this person, about people taking from her. And the reality is, nobody around her was like her. It was in her head. But you have to do some self observation to know if you're somebody who's like a what do they call them, a hypochondriac. You think everything's wrong. You have to check with yourself if you're that type of personality, if you're too protective. But if you're like, no, my filters are pretty balanced and I'm not too protective, then you have to trust your gut. You also have to tighten your circle, because when it's time for people to elevate, the last thing you need is someone in your circle who's not there for the right reasons. Everyone doesn't deserve proximity to your process. And be slow to share. Sometimes you have to hold your vision close until it's strong enough to stand on its own legs. A lot of times I've done this myself in the past where I shared what I was getting ready to do before it was finished, and then boom, someone else mimicked my work nearby. Or I share what I was getting ready to do, and since I shared it and put it out there, I didn't actually have the energy to bring it to materialization because I let the energy go of it. It was a container and I released it. It was a balloon and I let the air out. Sometimes we have to hold space. And next, you need to protect yourself with rituals. Yes, I said it. And that could be prayer, meditation, writing, cutting cords in spirit. Do what you need to do to return yourself to you. Now, I'm going to do a video soon about what you can do in your unfolding process to unfold your connections and ties to other people that you need to disconnect from. And these are things that men and women can do. These are things that Christians, Buddhists, Islamic individuals, wherever you stand, atheists, these are rituals that you can do that are safe for you to do to just get your spirit guides and God to bring your full energy and spirit back to yourself. I'll talk about that in a future episode. But last but not least, like, know when to disappear. Sometimes you'll need to go ghost for a bit, not because you're running, but because you're rooting. Okay. And I'm not saying to just walk away from people and never give them an explanation. You can tell somebody, hey, I think you're great. I think you're amazing. However, I don't feel like we're aligned at this part of our lives. Did y'all hear what I said? I think you're great, even if you don't. I think you're amazing, even if you don't. But I don't think we're aligned in this part of our lives because you're not. You don't have to badger someone negatively to cut them out of your life. You can just go ahead and just say those quick things. I think you're great. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, we're not aligned, right? And go ahead and close those doors because you're not being dishonest. You're leaving a bridge that may can come back in the future, but you're shutting a door so that you can go home to yourself and be more centered in yourself and in your now, because it's time for you to serve the now. And maybe serving the now means you're serving yourself because your energy is precious. Your ideas, your essence, they're not up for the taking. And you don't owe access to people who don't honor your source, right? So this is the reminder: protect your flame, be discerning with your light, and remember, isolation is something is a sometimes a sacred shield that keeps you becoming, keeps you unfolding within the right protection. And if this resonates with you, share this with someone who needs this reminder too. And I appreciate you for being here. We're all unfolding together, and as we're unfolding, we got to protect. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you, and I will see you this time next week.